Yates County and beyond. Welcome back to another episode of Invasive Species Friday. Through this short weekly podcast, we at the Yates CCE hope to bring you information about the invasive species you may see around this county. We're sprinting with this week's invasive, mile a minute. Native to Eastern Asia, India, China, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and the Philippines, mile a minute was first introduced to the US in 1890. It was brought over as an experiment to Portland, Oregon, and then again in 1937 to Beltsville, Maryland. Neither site established, however, and it wasn't until a contaminated shipment of holly seed stock arrived at a nursery in York County, Pennsylvania, sometime in the 1930s, that the herbaceous vine was able to successfully take hold and spread. The vine has now been spotted in counties in each of the states surrounding Pennsylvania. It's spreading northward up the East Coast and is relatively new to the Finger Lakes region. Mile a minute is an annual trailing vine that thrives in open and disturbed areas with very wet soil. It also prefers full sun but can tolerate partial shade. Most commonly, it infests areas like stream banks, roadsides, forest edges, and fence lines. The stems of mile a minute are delicate but have recurved barbs along its length and under the leaf blades. These barbs help the 20 to 30 foot vines climb up other plants and create dense blankets of vegetation. Mile a minute can grow up to 6 inches a day, so the plant needs a little more help clinging on than the other vines we've talked about this season. The vibrant green mile a minute leaves are a distinct triangular shape and are 1 inch to 3 inches wide, alternating along the stem. At the base of each leaf petiole, the stalk connecting the leaf to the stem, there's an ochrae. The round leaf-like structure completely encircles the main stem and is characteristic of weeds in the buckwheat family. In early summer, the plant blooms, but the small white flowers are hardly noticeable. Around July, spiky clusters of pea-sized fruit appear above large circular leaves. These berry-like fruits start green and mature into a metallic blue when ripe. They're buoyant for up to 9 days, and so can be transported far downstream. The fruit is also eaten and distributed great distances by birds and small mammals. The seeds are quite small and are easily dispersed in contaminated soil. Mile a minute seeds can remain viable for at least 6 years, and while each fruit only contains a single seed, a single vine can produce up to 3,500 seeds per year. This adds up to a pretty substantial seed bank in infested areas. A big concern for mile a minute is the same as what we've previously talked about for other invasive vines: smothering. Dense infestations take over, crowding out, shading out, and strangling all other plants in the area, including trees and seedlings. The damage this plant can do is actually kind of impressive, considering it's an annual that's killed by frost in the fall. The roundleaf bittersweet and wisteria plants we discussed in earlier episodes are both perennials, meaning they die back to the rootstock in the fall and begin to grow again in the spring from the previously established roots. Mile a minute must start from seed each year. This week's invasive also has the added danger of its barbs. The dense intertwining mats it creates may die, but the barbs remain. It can be hard enough to walk through a vine-infested area, but the mile a minute will leave those trying to traverse it pretty scratched up at the least. Which leads us nicely into a reminder for if you spot the invasive and want to get rid of it. Wear gloves. Make sure you protect yourself before tackling mile a minute. The plant is easy to pull because of its shallow root system and can be left to dry where it's pulled, provided the fruits have not started maturing. If the fruits have emerged, bag the plant and let it rot in the sun before disposing of it. Mile a minute can also be cut repeatedly before seed set, but it's best to cut it close to the ground. It will most likely take several years to completely deplete the seed bank, so stay vigilant for new growth each year. Pre-emergent herbicides may be available to prevent the seeds from germinating, but the timing of application is important, so read the instructions carefully. Finally, there is a mile a minute weevil that can be used to stunt the plant's growth. This biocontrol won't eradicate the infestation, but it has been shown to reduce the spring seedling count and seems to be a relatively cost-effective method of control. And with that, we reach the end of this week's episode of Invasive Species Friday. Next Friday, we're back with a 4-foot perennial that has at least 4 invasive lookalikes. Until then, we at the Yates CCE thank you for tuning in and supporting our fight against invasive species in Yates County.